We are back with Kelsey. We're still working on this multiplication and division. She said in our last video that sometimes when she sees a problem, she has a hard time telling if she's supposed to multiply or divide. And there is a very good reason for that, Kelsey. So I think that by doing we're going to do a little sort today of multiplication and division problems with our unicorns in the clouds activity. And I was trying to think of something I could write my problems about, and I thought of unicorns, and then I saw Kelsey in the hallway with her lunch, and her lunchbox has
unicorns.
So I knew that this was meant to be. So we're going to use our Unifix cubes again, but we're just going to pretend that the Unifix cubes are what? Unicorns. We have a sorting mat here. This side says multiplication, and this side says division. So the tricky part about telling if something is multiplication or division is you can technically use multiplication to solve division problems, right? So if you read a problem that's technically a division problem, but your brain would use multiplication to solve it, then your brain is thinking that's a multiplication problem, right? Mm-hmm. So then you start thinking, well, everything's a multiplication problem, especially if you like using multiplication, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to just practice reading a problem. So if we're starting with a set of unicorns and we're breaking up the set somehow into groups, that's going to be division, okay? And then if I am building up sets to get to a total number of unicorns, that's going to be multiplication, okay? Which one am I breaking things up, multiplication or division? Division. And here's a little trick how I remember. So the division symbol, doesn't it look like it's breaking up those two dots?
Yeah.
So division, I'm breaking up. You can also break things up with subtraction, but when I'm dividing whole numbers, I'm breaking them up into equal what?
Equal groups.
Equal groups, okay. And then for multiplication, I'm not breaking them up, I'm building up equal groups.
It's kind of like adding, but you're just like multiplying.
It's exactly like adding, except for you're not adding any old number, you're adding the same number, the same groups, right?
Yeah.
All right, groups.
There's a rule for division too, I think.
What are you thinking about? What's the rule?
The rule, I think, is it cannot at least be higher. It can't start with a little number. It has to start with a bigger number.
Oh, that is true to an extent. Let me think about if that always works.
But for multiplication also, you can also do a little bit of big numbers, not a whole bunch.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me show you something that's a little tricky about that. So, what if I had one cookie and I want to split that between you and me? Could I divide that cookie?
Yes.
And what would I divide it into?
You would do it like right there to equal parts.
Oh, so I could divide one. I could do one divided by one cookie divided by two people, but then each person would have how much of the cookie?
One.
One what?
One piece of cookie. Like
but what could we? Oh, you said what?
Half of a piece of cookie.
A half of a cookie?
Yeah.
Okay. So I could divide 1 divided by 2, but if I do that, my answer is going to be a fraction. Right?
Yeah.
So you can divide a bigger number divided, a smaller number divided by a bigger number, but your answer would be a fraction.
Yeah.
So we got to really think about what's happening. Are we breaking things up or are we building things up? Breaking or building? Are we putting things together or are we taking them apart? And as long as there's equal groups right now, we're going to be thinking multiplication or division. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have clouds for you because our problems are unicorns and clouds. And we have unicorns, okay? And I have some problems. We're going to just try to figure out, are they multiplication or division, okay? And if you need to build them out, you can build them out. If you want to draw them out, you can draw them out because I got a pencil too. Okay, so go ahead and read the first problem.
There were 15 unicorns. There were 3 unicorns on each cloud. How many clouds? How many clouds? Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you want to do? You want to build it? You want to draw it?
I'll use the Unifix cube.
Okay.
This one. So we have to have 15 of unicorns.
Mm-hmm.
6. 15. Okay, I think that's 15.
We can count and check just to make sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
All right,
15.
count slow and make sure you're right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay, so you could read the problem again now that we got our 15 unicorns.
There were 15 unicorns. There were 3 unicorns on each cloud. How many clouds?
Okay.
So now we could like break them up into 3s.
Okay.
So we have 5.
5 what?
5 unicorns on each cloud. No, 3 unicorns on each cloud, but there's 5 clouds.
5 clouds. Good. Did you want to put them on the clouds or are you good?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Just at least for the first one because I
Yeah.
cut the clouds out and they're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
So, how you said it would be 5. Now, now we're splitting them up into the clouds, right?
Yeah.
So you said I would need 5 clouds?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 and then 2 more.
Oh, look at the unicorns on the cloud. Okay, so was I splitting up my unicorns or was I building up unicorns?
Splitting, I think.
So would that be multiplication or division?
Division.
I agree. Put your first card up here.
So
That card, you just slide your card right up there.
that really.
Yep, it's okay. You don't even have to solve it. Well, you can solve it. How many clouds? What's the answer?
5.
Okay, go ahead and put 5 up there.
Right, on the card?
Yep,
Right
you can put it on the card. Okay. All right, read the next card.
There were 15 unicorns. They sat in equal groups on 5 clouds. How many unicorns were on each cloud? So, it's equal groups. So we could basically just do the same thing. Oh wait, 3.
You can read it again and make sure.
There were 15 unicorns.
Do we have 15 unicorns?
Yes.
Okay.
They sat in equal groups on 5 clouds.
Do I have equal groups on 5 clouds?
Yeah.
I do. I already have that. That's convenient.
How many unicorns were on each cloud?
Oh, this question's asking for unicorns on each cloud.
And it's like switching it up basically.
Yeah.
Instead of just using the 3, it's basically just using the 5. And
Yeah.
then instead of using the 5, you can use the 3.
So the last question asked me, it told me how many unicorns were on each cloud, and I had to find out how many clouds.
Yeah.
This one's telling me how many clouds, but I need to tell how many unicorns are on each cloud, right?
Yeah.
So what would the answer be to that question?
3.
I agree with you. Put your number up there. Multiplication or division?
Oh,
What do you think?
it's kind of hard because it's equal. It's kind of hard. So
What do you mean?
Because if you don't kind of know it's multiplication or division, and you kind of did the same thing.
It could look like,
Yeah.
doesn't that look like multiplication too?
Yeah.
Like what multiplication does that look like?
Like splitting apart multiplication.
Okay,
Basically.
when I'm splitting apart, is that multiplying or dividing?
Dividing.
Okay.
So, like adding up basically.
Multiplication, yes. Okay, so we said the answer is 3 for this one.
Mhm.
And in the problem, am I splitting things up or am I adding things up?
Splitting.
Right? So is that multiplication or division?
Division.
Yep. So put your 3 on that card and put it under division.
Okay.
And answer, put your 3 up there.
Oh.
Excelente. Next question.
There were 15 unicorns. And
Hold on. I'm gonna mix these cards up a little bit better. Oh, look at that one has a little bit of my lunch hot wing grease on it. Don't touch the hot wing grease, huh?
there were 3 unicorns on a cloud. There were 5 clouds. How many unicorns were on the clouds?
Oh. You can
15.
use 15. Okay, I agree with you. Put 15 up there on the card. Does your model match that problem?
Yes.
So is there 5, what does the problem say? 5 clouds and 3 unicorns? Okay.
Yeah.
So this time, was I splitting up the unicorns or was I adding up the equal groups of unicorns?
Adding.
So is that division or multiplication?
Multiplication.
I agree.
I used multiplication. I already knew multiplication because it started at 3 and it just kind of flip-flopped. I counted by 3s and I went up to 5.
5 threes?
Yeah.
Could you also have done 3 fives? You could have. Okay, next card.
There were 15 unicorns. They sat in equal groups on 3 clouds. How many unicorns were on each cloud?
Ooh, I think this one I'm going to have to change my model a little bit.
Yeah, so let me take off these and then just put these in a pile. Delete them.
Alright.
So there were 15 unicorns.
So we're still starting with 15, right?
Yeah. So we have 15 unicorns. They sat in equal groups on 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then there might be.
So can you make some equal groups?
Yeah.
How did you know that it was going to be 5?
Because it's basically flip-flopping again.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking about that relationship between 3, 5, and 15?
It's
So
like, it's like it's really just memorizing, basically.
you know those numbers go together from the division? Because if we did 15, 5, and 3, then we could do 15, 3, and 5, and aren't they related facts?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So read that question one more time.
There were 15 unicorns. They sat in equal groups on 3 clouds. How many unicorns were on each cloud?
And what is your answer?
5.
I agree. Write it down. Are you multiplying or dividing?
Dividing.
I agree. How do you know that you're dividing?
Because if I was multiplying, it kind of wouldn't be 3. It would be 5, I think. Kind of confusing.
What action was happening? Were you breaking up the unicorns to put them on the clouds, or were you adding up unicorns?
Breaking.
Yep. So you're splitting them up. That's division. All right. Good. Next problem.
There were 5 unicorns on a cloud. They were 3 clouds. How many unicorns were on the clouds? So we might have to change up these. Well, wait, no. Oh, wait.
You can use the same model.
Yeah, you can use the same model, and you can just basically keep it like that.
Okay. So what would the answer be?
15.
Okay. How do you know?
Because, like I said again, flip-flopping. But this time, I left it, and I already knew there was 5 in each group, and there was 3 clouds. And if we count by 5 3 times, it gets up to 15.
So am I putting those 5s together?
Yes.
So is that division or multiplication?
Multiplication.
I agree. I thought you said this was hard for you, Kelsey.
Well, if you're not flip-flopping, it's not hard.
Okay. So what's the answer to that one?
15.
Okay, so go ahead and write it down.
Maybe after we're done doing this one, you can probably change it up a little bit. That's what's hard for me. Like, if I know my related facts, then it's easy. But if I
I
don't,
bet you $1,000,000 if I write you some new ones and I switch it up, it's going to be easier for you still, because what I notice is that if I write a bunch of problems about the same thing, it helps students focus on what's happening in the problem. So if I make all the numbers the same, it makes them think about what's actually happening, whether the splitting up is happening or whether the adding up is happening, and then it helps it make sense to them. So I'll give you some more problems and with different numbers, and I bet you'll be better at it. Okay, let's try. I think we got a little bit more.
Okay. There were 15 unicorns. There were 5 unicorns on each cloud. How many clouds?
Read it again one more time.
There were 15 unicorns. There were 5 unicorns on each cloud. And then,
Is it a different model or the same model?
same.
Same model, but my question's different now, right?
Yeah.
What's my question?
How many clouds?
Okay, what's your answer?
3.
All right, I agree. Put your 3 up there. Is it multiplication or division?
Division.
Division. How do you know?
Because we were what do you call it? Adding? No, we were splitting apart.
Splitting it up. So next time I pull you, I'm going to do different numbers. I won't do numbers in the same fact family, and I won't make them all unicorns. I'll do all kinds of mixed up stuff, and we'll do the same type of thing and see if doing this helps you with the mixed up ones.
Okay.
Do you think it will?
Yes.
You just have to know what's happening when you divide or when you multiply, okay?
Yeah. And the thing that basically is easy for me, if I know my related facts, boom, I get it correct.
And for this one, we didn't really have to think about doing the math. We were just thinking about
The answer.
like what operation it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I might pull you again to do something with some facts that are not related, okay?
Okay.
All right, sign us off. What do you want to say?
Subscribe, turn on post notification, do math.
Do math. All right.